In a stunning move that has left American travelers stunned and stranded, the United States has officially banned all direct travel to 10 countries in 2025. We're not talking about routine advisories or red tape, these are full-blown visa suspensions, level 4 do not travel warnings, and a diplomatic freeze with no consular safety net. And here's the brutal truth. If you're an American citizen, you're not getting in. Period. This isn't just about closed borders. It's about geopolitical collapse, rising anti-American sentiment, civil wars, rogue regimes, and a U.S. foreign policy in crisis. What was once a world of freedom for American tourists is rapidly becoming a patchwork of no-go zones. From Latin America to the Middle East, once accessible nations are now locked tight, and what's even more shocking is how fast it happened. So why are these countries slamming the door shut? And more importantly, what does it say about America's place in the world today? You'll want to watch until number 1 arrive, because what's waiting at the top of the list is more than just a banned country, it's a global warning sign we can't afford to ignore. Number 10. Yemen, once a destination for daring travelers and humanitarian volunteers, Yemen is now fully off limits to Americans. In just 1 year, U.S. visa approvals for Yemeni nationals dropped from 14,677 to 0. The State Department has placed the country under a level 4 do not travel advisory, citing escalating violence, airstrikes, and an almost total collapse of infrastructure. Active military operations against Houthi rebel forces have turned the country into a war zone, where even hospitals are being bombed and basic medical supplies have run dry. The U.S. has pulled back all consular operations, and without a functioning embassy, American citizens have no official recourse if detained, injured, or stranded. The Biden administration's red list policy now treats Yemen as a dead zone for travel, comparable to Syria and Somalia. Even dual nationals are being warned to stay away. So the question is, why were we still sending aid, but not protecting citizens? And if Yemen's off the map, who's next? Number 9. Venezuela, once was a popular cruise stop and cultural hotspot, has become a closed box for American travelers. Venezuela hasn't issued U.S. tourist or student visas since 2019, and now, with relations at an all-time low, the U.S. Embassy in Caracas remains shuttered. That means no help if you're detained, robbed, or held without cause, and that's happening more than you think. Under Nicolas Maduro's authoritarian regime, dual nationals have faced exit bans, unable to leave for months or even years. The U.S. has no diplomatic channel to intervene, and Americans traveling there are at risk of surveillance, harassment, and indefinite detainment under the guise of espionage. Why is no one talking about this? Is Venezuela quietly becoming a Cold War-era authoritarian echo chamber? One where American citizenship isn't just meaningless, but dangerous. And that's just the beginning. Number 8. Syria has effectively slammed the door shut on American travel. With no U.S. embassy since 2012, and visa processing via Amman now in complete disarray, Americans face a dead end. The process is so opaque that even those trying to apply face security reviews that can last indefinitely, with no right to appeal or explanation for denial. Once one of the cultural capitals of the Arab world, Syria is now a fragmented landscape of civil war, Russian influence, and Iranian militias. Americans attempting to enter even for journalism or aid are at extreme risk of being labeled as spies and vanished into untraceable detention. So here's the real question. If the U.S. can't even guarantee embassy access or fair treatment, should we consider Syria a sovereign state or a failed one? Number 7. Sudan. In just 12 months, Sudan has gone from issuing over 8,000 U.S. visas to issuing none. Amid a raging civil war, both military factions, the Sudanese armed forces and the Rapid Support Forces have unleashed terror on civilians, and Americans are now explicitly banned from travel. There is no operational U.S. embassy, no emergency extraction route, and no diplomatic protection if caught in the chaos. Several aid workers have already disappeared, and there are growing concerns that American nationals could be used as political pawns in this escalating power struggle. So what does it mean when a country collapses in real time, and the US can't even get its own citizens out? Is this the new face of American global influence? Retreat, not rescue? Number 6. Somalia. With the issuance of 3,000 visas in 2024, Somalia seemed like it was inching back toward the global community, but that illusion shattered in 2025. The US slapped Somalia with a 100% visa suspension, citing its status as a terrorist safe haven and the total breakdown of centralized control. Today, if you're American and step foot into Somalia, you're gambling with kidnapping, extortion, and possibly death. Islamist insurgent groups like Al-Shabaab have made American citizens high-value targets, and the US admits it has no capacity for rescue or negotiation. Why are we pretending this is just another travel advisory? This is a failed state, and Americans aren't just being kept out. They're being hunted if they get in. Number 5. Libya. Once a vital gateway to North Africa, Libya is now a sealed zone for Americans. U.S. visa approvals have dropped from 4,000 in 2024 to 0, and even business or press travel requires intense vetting that almost always ends in rejection. Why? Because Libya has become a playground for militias, warlords, and foreign mercenaries. With the U.S. embassy shut down, any emergency must be routed through Tunisia, process so slow that you could be dead before anyone arrives. Several Americans have been detained in recent months under vague anti-espionage laws, sparking concern that Libya may start using foreign nationals as bargaining chips. Is this just a failed visa system, or is Libya sending a geopolitical message? Has America lost all leverage in North Africa? Number 4. Cuba. Think Cuba's just a sunny getaway with vintage cars and mojitos? Think again. As of 2025, general tourism is completely banned for Americans. The only access is through 12 narrow visa categories like religious activities or educational programs, and those are rapidly disappearing. In fact, the U.S. revoked 75% of licenses in major departure hubs just last year. Travelers now need specific tourist cards, assigned by color depending on point of departure. A green or pink card isn't just paperwork, it's your only legal entry path, and they're becoming increasingly hard to obtain as U.S.-Cuba tensions escalate over espionage claims and cyber warfare. This isn't about safety. This is about ideology. Cuba is once again drawing a line in the sand. So why are some Americans still trying to sneak across it? Is this Cold War II, and we're already losing? Number 3. Iran. As of August 2024, all general U.S. tourist visas to Iran have dropped to 0. And if you still want to visit, you'll need to apply through a government-run tour agency, wait up to a month for clearance, and even then, there's no guarantee you'll get in. This isn't a vacation, it's surveillance in disguise. Over 23,000 visas were issued to Iranians in 2024. But the U.S. now classifies Iran as a level 4 do not travel zone. Americans can't go freely, and those who do risk being arrested for something as simple as photographing a government building, often under baseless spying accusations. Is Iran afraid of Americans, or is it hunting for political leverage? Either way, it's clear, if you're American, your passport is now a liability in Tehran. Number 2. North Korea. North Korea has always been extreme, but in 2025, the regime has gone into full lockdown mode against American travel. Independent visas have remained at 0 since the 2017 Otto Warmbier tragedy, and only a few highly restricted special validation passports are granted, mostly to journalists or aid workers. The risks are astronomical. Americans caught entering the DPRK without clearance face indefinite detention, forced confessions, and no consular access. You could disappear for years, and Washington can't do a thing about it. So why is the US still issuing warnings instead of bans? And how much longer before someone ignores the rules and vanishes? Number 1. Afghanistan. This is the epicenter. Afghanistan is now a complete travel black hole for US citizens. From 37,000 visas issued between May 2024 and April 2025, to 0. The Taliban's refusal to repatriate deportees and its total breakdown in biometric screening raised serious national security alarms in Washington, triggering a total visa halt. With no embassy presence, no consular safety, and no evacuation route, Americans in Afghanistan are on their own. And if you're arrested or accused, you might never be heard from again. Several dual nationals have already gone missing, presumed detained, or worse. Afghanistan isn't just closed. It's the final warning sign. The message is loud and clear. The era of US travel dominance is over. 10 countries, 0 access. And the worst part, the list is growing. Whether it's authoritarian regimes, war zones, or nations rejecting US influence outright, the world is sending a brutal message. American passports no longer guarantee freedom. This isn't just about safety, it's about power, respect, and America's place in a world that's turning hostile fast. For decades, US citizens traveled the globe with unparalleled access. But today, we're being told to stay home, or worse, don't come back. So here's the question: if this is what travel looks like in 2025, what does the future hold for American influence abroad? Because if the door is closing now, what happens when it slams shut? Subscribe for more geopolitical breakdowns, and tell us which banned country shocked you the most.